This is where it all started. The blood of millions beneath my feet. South Shore. Your legacy shall live on.
Vanilla PvP, oh boy! Okay, let's get into this. Now, I'm not saying it was good, I'm not saying it was bad, but it was bad, and you should feel bad for enjoying it. PvP was certainly in the plans for WoW, but it wasn't a realistic second path of the game for quite some time. At launch, we had no battlegrounds at all, so a good place to start is South Shore. Okay, before we get into some footage, it's important to remember the two golden rules of making a vanilla PvP video. Firstly, skill. Not required. Don't even have to do much of anything, really. Nobody knows who's a good player and who isn't, so you can literally do whatever the hell you want. 2. The music must be by Disturbed. If it's not by Disturbed, your video's going to suck. Sometimes you can be a little bit fancy and throw in some Linkin Park, but realistically, if you're gonna do that, you need to put in 2 Disturbed songs just to cover it up. Okay? Let's get into it. Perhaps you've even heard those few vanilla veterans reminding the world about the uber amazing world PvP that you noobs have never experienced. Ah, the smell of bullshit. It's delicious. Technically, it was world PvP. Reality? It was a fucking battleground before there were battlegrounds. It was like the dueling outside of Orgrimmar or Stormwind. It was just a place where we went to go PvP. There was nowhere else. It was this place with the closest graveyards. But unlike battlegrounds or dueling with limited factors, the South Shore Hillsbrad PvP was just a res zerg over and over and over again. The only reason this was good is because there was no alternative. I mean, come on, Relentless was good before you tried a monster. But wait, it's happening. June 7th, 2005. The day of days. Praise the Lord! Battlegrounds are here. And with it, we're going ham on the amazing honor system. Warsong Gulch, Alterac Valley are here, and suddenly South Shore PvP was dead. I don't mean gradually died away. Instantly, with a click of the heels, it was gone. Because it sucked. Warsong Gulch and AV are commonplace now, and let's face it, they're still pretty much favourites amongst the current pools. The simplicity of Warsong Gulch and the 40 on 40 environment of AV was always epic. I guess we should spread our joy of AV here. I wouldn't even be surprised if some people didn't know about all the extra shit you can do in AV. The main thing that people will bang on about was how long the games lasted. Not uncommon to find a single AV running 24, 36 hours, with extremes lasting up to a week. Yep, you can enter AV, play for hours, go to bed, go to work, come back, and still the same game was carrying on. That's fucked up when you think about it, but it had a nice charm. As one thing you didn't have to worry about was queue times as between games. Obviously, because it didn't end, so no queues. Forget it. Some will say it was epic and warlike. I tend to agree, actually. But thinking back, I was mostly frustrated by the total lack of cooperation in the battleground. The main reasons the games lasted so long was the cooldown between spawning the bosses. What bosses, you say? Well, allow me to educate you. Ivus, the Forest Lord, and Lokolar, the Ice Lord, are the ultimate units summonable in AV by handing in blood and storm crystals. In Vanilla, it was accepted that no real push into the enemy was worthwhile without one of these units at your side. So in between collecting the resources, both sides would stalemate at various points throughout the map in an ongoing attempt to gain control of all the graveyards. A boss was summoned, and more often than not killed, because it wasn't protected or just evade bugged out, so the process was just repeat itself. Now, these ballers still exist, but no longer used, so what's up with that? Well, since repeatedly killing the same players over and over has drastically reduced honor in comparison to rushing and doing another AV, it took a huge hit in the idea of, well, actually PvPing. People want rewards. Rewards cost honor, and PvPing in AV overall costs less honor. Yeah. The original BGs were cool, besides actually having to go to the entrances to do them. Took me a long ass time on my Amiga Dwarf to find the Warsong Gulch entrance in Ashervale, but when I did it was awesome. Although undoubtedly inconvenient, it was pretty cool to see all the PvP players preparing to enter battle. This is pre-Crossrealm, so you could chat and talk with people who are going to be in the same battleground with you. But this is kind of rose-tinted. Now we queue and we do whatever we want to do in the meantime. It's a clearly superior system that's standing in a forest away from anything useful, waiting for the queue to pop, ever would be. So with all the BGs, we could finally start work on our journey to become the one, the only High Warlord. What a total farce. The honor system was the most ridiculous, punishing, and grueling grind in history. And you know what? You know what? I gotta say, I gotta be the guy. Fucking see everywhere, forums, fucking method rate, 16 hours a day for 2 weeks, no life, motherfuckers. Fucking not even showering, don't eat. PvPers play all day, all the time. They don't even get gear, they got the gear, they just play over and over and over and over again. All the time. Same thing. Same PG, same arena. Fuck, you're the nerds. We're normal. I'm not joking. If you wanted to get a decent title and some epic PvP gear, say bye-bye to exercise, the sun, and sex. Hello, pizza delivery guy. The original honor system was a mix of torture and heart conditions. Instead of the instant badges and honor we get now, you simply had to play a lot. And every Wednesday, during maintenance, Blizzard would use science to work out what ranking you got and reward you after the reset.
And my computer will analyze it with science.
The only way to guarantee it increased was to get as much honor as possible by simply playing more and more and more and more. Some people loved that you could log in at any time and your dedicated PvP team would be in a pre-made running BGs, but that is the epitome of mass nerding. Bestest part of it all? It actually degraded by 20% if you skipped a week. Oh, you went on holiday, family member died, better get someone to log my account and do some PvP, because otherwise I'll lose my rank. Disgusting system. But oh, what about when you're there? You've made it. You're Warlord or Marshal. Now is the time for the last push. There can only be one High Warlord or Grand Marshal per server per week. That means you have to have the most, not just in your team, not just on your side, the most honor out of every single person on your faction. That ain't easy when everybody wants to be that High Warlord. So you had to be in a formed group. This is the only way to do it, and those people had to agree that it was your turn to be the High Warlord. If it didn't work out that way and everyone was just fighting amongst each other, then you would never get it. It just wouldn't work. So conglomerates were formed, groups of people deciding who was going to be High Warlord and who wasn't. And Lord knows, if any random dared show their face to try and compete with these guys, you got a torrent of abuse. They would really come down on you hard, and you would be a leper amongst the team. Especially if you were already in the team, this could be even worse. Because what would happen is if you were found to be doing extra honor, extra BGs past the set designated caps, they would roast you. And as this wasn't cross-realm, you couldn't avoid them. You couldn't get away from it. You would lose your spot in their BG group and you were fucked. So what the hell is the point in all this grinding? Why are we playing 18 plus hours a day? What are we going to get from it? Well, the original gear is actually amazing. Even towards the end of vanilla, the weapons were still best in slot unless you were raiding max nax. But they never really updated it. It was the gear that was available as soon as the game launched. So what happened? AQ happened. Blackwing Lair to an extent, even Nax Ramus. Once these things happened, the gear kind of came outdated in a lot of respects, especially the armor. What AQ gear people and Nax geared people could actually one-shot you. I don't mean a swifty one-shot, which is like 3 or 4 spells. I'm talking a single attack, a mortal strike, even a sinister strike on my priest that could literally kill you because it hit harder than your maximum HP. Oh man, these were sad times. The gear did kind of look cool, although I never really favoured the Grand Marshal armor. But the weapons were incredible, and a lot of people really, really wanted them. And realistically, after you farmed that much, you kind of want the reward. A lot of people gave up around rank 13, which is a little bit sad, and they always regretted it. I spoke to them about it, and they said, look, getting the rest of the way there required me to play for so much longer than I already had. I just kind of wanted the rewards by then. Weird. Okay, to finish this one out, though, I'm going to link you some amazing videos, okay? You should go and check them out. Some people in Vanilla put together some quality stuff, and they were great players. Of course, I'm not listing everybody here, and I'm sure you've all got your homegrown favourites. That's fine. Thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in for the next part of this series, which is going to be PvE. Alright, guys. Bye.